What's going on, guys? So in this video we're discussing what I can remember anyways is what I've been reaching for the most so far this year. We're at the midway point. At the recording of this, it's the 17th of July. 15th of July would have been ideal to record this technically, but we're kind of at the midway point of the year for the most part. A few weeks past technically, and there's just certain fragrances that I find myself going back to more and more. Some, it was heavier at the beginning of the year because the season changed to where it's not ideal anymore, and then others, this ideal season is very recent and we're in now, so I've been starting to reach for them. So I figure we go ahead and cover them since it's, you know, pretty much midway through the year, and see where the rotation's been heaviest at thus far. So stay tuned. Starting with one that's probably going to surprise a lot of you. I do have every Polo Blue fragrance except for the red, white, and blue flanker. And believe it or not, the Polo Blue I wear the most is Dossier's version of Polo Blue Eau de Parfum, called Fresh Woody No. 4. I believe it's Aromatic Watermelon is what it's called now, if I remember correctly, because this is an older bottle. But, I mean, a lot of that dent is from this year. I spray it all the time. I'll randomly just spray it out in the air and sniff it, or I'll give myself 2 or 3 sprays on my arm and just sniff it, or I'll randomly wear it to the gym. It performs really well, and it's actually a little bit stronger than authentic Polo Blue EDP. I have a 4.2 ounce bottle of Polo Blue EDP. This is a louder fragrance. The accuracy is pretty much spot on. The quality is pretty much the same. Honestly, it may even be a little bit better here with Dossier's version, but this is one I just randomly go back to. It is my favorite fragrance from Dossier Perfumes. Can be kind of boring that my favorite is a Polo Blue clone of all things. I get it, but you like what you like, right? And this is definitely the one. The second place would probably be their version of Aromatic Code, but I haven't wore that in a really long time. I haven't worn it all this year, so it's irrelevant to the video, but it has relevancy to being one of my favorites from this particular house. So if you haven't tried anything from Dossier, you might be missing out. They have a pretty good policy where you can try it. If you don't like it, you just return it. So you never know, you might find something you like. But definitely one of the ones I've been wearing the most this year. Fresh Woody No. 4 from Dossier Perfumes. I think it's now called Aromatic Watermelon, their version of Polo Blue EDP. Next, this one probably won't come as a surprise. I haven't had it for a very long time, but I have dropped the juice level down a good bit. There was a stretch over several weeks that I was wearing this one religiously. That is Rasasi Hawas. I was very late to the game with this one, but this stuff is incredible. It really is. It's basically just spicy Invictus. It smells like the original Invictus with some cardamom and some cinnamon added. So if you like Invictus, you'll probably like this. If you don't like Invictus, you'll hate this, because it's clearly that similar style DNA. Like I said, it's basically the Middle Eastern take on Invictus is how you can look at it. It's a great fragrance. Price kind of fluctuates here in the States. Sometimes you can find it in the 40s. Sometimes it's in the 60s. It all depends. You just got to keep your eye out. The price fluctuates a lot on Amazon, I find. I actually got this on Amazon for like 44 bucks. And I still see it pop up at that price point from the same seller. I bought this from Intense Oud seller on Amazon. And really good stuff. Manufactured in February 2022, so it's a batch from this year. It's the darker color juice. I only need 4 sprays. This stuff is loud, strong, pulls in a few compliments for sure, and it's perfect for this time of year because I know a lot of people are looking for a monster performer that's still fresh. Here you go. Rasasi Hawas might be the one to look at. Another one that I've only had for a short time. This was one of the niche fragrances that's been released recently that I was super excited for. I mean, I was so head over heels excited to get this. It did not disappoint. It's everything I hoped it would be, where it stays true to the original, but it is a much more intense take on the scent profile. We're talking about Intense Cedrat Boise from Mancera. This was actually my scent for July 4th, a couple of weeks ago. That's the last time I wore it, but I've worn it a little over a handful of times, plus several test sprays and stuff. I've done a few videos on it. It's been in the weekly rotation. I've wore it to, like I said, family gathering for July 4th. And this is one that's so immensely powerful that you'll go anosmic to it, quick, fast, and in a hurry, because the early stages of this fragrance is extremely strong. It's 45% oil concentration. I've had people come in the comments saying, it's weak on me, only 2 hours and it's gone, I can't smell it. It's anosmia. There's no way this 45% oil concentration, unless you're washing your hands over and over, is coming up off your skin in that short of amount of time. I really think it's some nose blind issues for a lot of people, because that's what I've been experiencing. It happens every single time I wear it, to where it actually smells stronger to me several hours after I've sprayed it than it does after the first 30 minutes or so, because I get some serious olfactory fatigue. I don't know what note is in here that's doing it, but it's a nice warm and spicy take on Cedrat Boise. You still maintain a lot of that same fresh citrus and fruitiness at the top, but it's a little bit more spicy. Obviously, it wears much heavier because it's a 45% oil concentration. There's some Cambodian oud here. There's this lovely leathery suede type of feel. It's very buttery with this nice muskiness that's not too dirty, but there is a little bit of an animalic touch here with the oud, leather, and musk combination. Just a beautiful fragrance that I'll just continue to reach for throughout the year sporadically. I've actually been wearing it more than the original, which kind of surprises me now that I'm thinking about it, but it's really good. I've definitely been reaching for it this year, as Intense Cedrat Boise from Mancera. I have a bunch of ways to smell like this fragrance, and I've actually been wearing this to the gym more than other fragrances I have that smell like it. I'm talking about Versace Man Eau Fraicher. I'm wearing this one a lot more this year than I have in the last year or so. This dent's starting to get a little bit heavier. I don't use a lot of sprays, 3, maybe 4 sprays, because I'm just going to the gym, but it's a beautiful citrusy, musky, airy fragrance, a little bit fresh spicy in its core, but nothing real heavy or real spicy. Almost an aquatic feel, kind of a mouth-watering citrus, if you will. A little bit of sour citrus from the star fruit. It's a lovely fragrance. It's wildly popular. Has been for many years. I do have Armaf's clone Aura Fresh of this. It outshines it in performance. Like, it's so much better a performer. You don't really lose any of that freshness at the top, the magic that's in the opening of this fragrance. You don't really lose it. They didn't dial the oil concentration up too much. It's an eau de parfum versus this eau de toilette. It's 8+ hours every time I wear it, and the only problem is it's not cheap enough to justify it for a lot of you guys, and I understand that. I just really wanted to check it out. And once it is more readily available, and it does get a little bit cheaper than getting 100 ml of this, I think a lot more people are going to get it and enjoy it. It's really, really good. I'm actually very impressed with it. Now, I do have Kenneth Cole Blue that I do wear to the gym a lot. I just don't wear it as much as this. It's kind of a more synthetic and aquatic take on this fragrance. I just seem to be, I don't know, I get the itch to wear this one to the gym more so than the rest. So naturally it had to make the video. I've just been reaching for it. It's this and one of the fragrances in this video are kind of my go-tos for the gym this year. It's Versace Man Eau Fraicher. Another one that's probably not going to surprise too many that watch the channel on a regular basis. I feature this one all the time. I wear it pretty often. I'll wear it to the gym. I'll wear it hanging around the house, just lounging out the shower. I wear it casually. I wear it as my scent of the day. We're talking about Missoni Wave. This is kind of my stud of the year. This is going to be probably my favorite pickup of the year when it's all said and done, which before I got this, Rasasi Hawas was standing in that spot. This kind of dethroned Hawas. I really, really like this stuff. I think I'll go through this bottle faster than most. I'll go through this like I go through Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger. I'll go through this like I've been going through First Instinct Together from Abercrombie & Fitch, where I know I'm just going to keep going back to it because it fits every aspect of my life other than, I really don't wear it to dinner, though I do believe you can. It smells like Chanel L'Homme Sport. My wife loves the way it smells. She loves when I wear this. I could wear this to dinner if I really wanted to. I just choose not to. But every other aspect of my life, I wear it for. I have a lot of uses for this fragrance. It's cheap. It performs pretty well without being super strong. It's far from weak. I mean, it just checks so many boxes, pretty much every box that I could want in an affordable fragrance, or any fragrance for that matter. Shouldn't be a surprise here that this is one of the most worn so far, is Missoni Wave. Next, I keep going back to this one randomly. I have worn this one to dinner. I have worn this to lunch dates that me and my wife have had. I've had it for a few scent of the days. The first time I smelled it, I thought I still was more of a fan of the EDP, but the more I wear Roja Parfum's Oligarch Parfum, the more I think it's the better version. Yes, you lose some of the brightness in the top note that the Eau de Parfum has, but it doesn't lose that mouth-watering citrus effect. If anything, it makes it even more mouth-watering because it's much more dense. The fruitiness and citruses are kind of a sweeter take now that it's a heavier oil concentration. You still get that touch of herbaceousness, but it's still mega citrus fresh. Just a little bit sweeter citrus is how you can look at it. It's more fruity citrus sweet than it was watery fresh like the Eau de Parfum. I know that can be kind of confusing. I kind of went all over the place with that, but the freshness is sacrificed, and I think it's justified. It's not completely sacrificed, but when you compare them side by side, it's definitely not near as bright in the top as the Eau de Parfum. Really like this one. I know it's not the easiest thing to get a hold of right now. For some reason, I've heard something from rumblings from people over the last few months about not being able to find it. I have nothing to offer in regards to that. I have no idea, but it's definitely a really good fragrance when it becomes more readily available to get samples, decants, people are doing splits, whatever. It's definitely worth getting your nose on. It's a superior take on what I thought was already superior with the Eau de Parfum. They discontinued the Eau de Parfum to release this, and then this got scarce pretty quickly, but it's one I keep going back to. I mean, the juice levels slowly dropping with this one because I don't use a lot of sprays. It's 4, maybe 5 sprays when I wear this one because it's pretty damn strong and it lingers. It's got a high density to the aroma. It's beautiful stuff. If you get the opportunity to try this one, absolutely worth trying. I'll probably have several more wearings in me the rest of the year with this one too. It's Roja Parfum's Oligarch Parfum. Next, this has kind of been the go-to for the gym this year, more so than Versace Man Eau Fraicher. This is CK1 Summer 2021. I love this for the gym. This is like the ultimate gym bag fragrance because I like them weak and I like them fresh. And this is super crazy fresh and like a 2-hour fragrance. It's perfect and it's cheap. It's only $20 to get this. Melon, zesty citrus, sharp, just kind of uplifting and invigorating. It's just so damn good, in my opinion. That's my main use for it. Casually, out the shower, and especially for the gym. Not the best work scent. I mean, you would have to keep it with you and refresh pretty much every 2 hours if you get the same kind of longevity that I get. Some people may get a little bit more. A lot of people, I'm sure, get a lot less. It's one of those fragrances that some people refuse to buy because they know going into it it's not going to perform really well, and to each their own. I have plenty of situations where this fits my fragrance wardrobe perfectly, and the gym being that ideal scenario. This is, if you're looking for a great gym bag fragrance, something you can just refresh with as a transition from the gym to wherever you're going before you shower, or you just like to spray something on and be nice and fresh and clean for your own psyche when you walk into the gym, this is really good for that, and you are not going to spend a lot of money. Like I said, you can find it at discounters and rack stores for right around $20. $19 at Burlington's where I got this one. One of my most worn for sure. CK1 Summer 2021. Next, this is one that I haven't been wearing here in the heat, though I do think you can get away with it. I really enjoyed it more in the spring, absolutely loved it in the winter, and I really think the most ideal season is yet to come with fall. I'm definitely going to wear this a lot more. This was my most worn fragrance in the first quarter of the year, without a doubt. We're talking about Zaharoff Signature Tabac. I love Tabac. This stuff, this dent is from this year. I do have the shave set. I have the body wash and so on. So it's so good. It's had more time to macerate. It's just getting richer. It's just getting better with time. It really is. It's a very aromatic, leafy tobacco. There's some sweetness here. There's some booziness. There's some woods. There's a little bit of resinous, smoky nature to it. Like there's a little bit of all of the elements of what can make for a great tobacco fragrance. A sweet tobacco, a boozy tobacco, a spicy tobacco, an herbal tobacco. There's facets of all of it blended to perfection in this. This has won a few awards. This past year, Claude did magnificent work. This is so good. This is definitely my most worn, even though Rosé is still my favorite from the house because of the wow factor on it. Just the enjoyment of wearing this with the versatility when you're in a semi-casual to formal situation, it's undeniable. The performance is pretty long lasting, well above average without being some ridiculous beast. And the same thing goes with the projection and the sillage. It's strong and pronounced, it's robust, but it's not too much. It's not overpowering and overwhelming. It's just right to match the scent profile, in my opinion. My most worn in the first quarter, and in the last quarter of the year, I'm willing to bet this will be my most worn then. Zaharoff Signature Tabac. So this is one I revisited this year. I actually did a full review not that long ago. I was rocking my 30 ml. My buddy Chuck decided he doesn't like the fragrance, and I got his 100 ml off of him, so I have 2 bottles now of Mr. Burberry Indigo from Burberry. This is my 30 ml that I did the review with, and then shortly thereafter, I got this 100 milliliter bottle, and I've been knocking down some sprays with this stuff. I love this fragrance. Kind of like a more green and herbaceous take, a more fresh, spicy take on Acqua di Gio Profumo in many ways. There's definitely some similarities here, while not the same fragrance. That herbal green tone, there's a little bit of incense. It's aquatic. There's some watery nuances to this fragrance. So there's definitely some similarities there, but this is a bit fresher, more fresh, spicy than that. This is a beautiful everyday wear type of fragrance. Hyper underrated blue that's got a lot of green facets to it, but it's a blue fragrance at its core. The color of the bottles are very fitting. It's a beautiful pale navy blue as well. Beautiful, beautiful color. I mean, that's just an underrated shade of blue. I mean, hell, it's similar to what I'm rocking, you know? Check this one out if you haven't yet. I haven't tried the newest one. I think it's Mr. Burberry Element, I think is the name of it. So this is a bold statement, but I think it's the best in the line of the previous 3 anyways. Element may be better than this. I don't know. I haven't tried it. But the Eau de Parfum, still a great fragrance in its own right. The Eau de Toilette, solid, but can't hold a candle to this. This is a really good fragrance that's flying right under the radar. Get your nose on this one if you can. I'll definitely continue rocking it throughout the year. I'm glad to have reached back and been spending more time with it this year. Again, that's Mr. Burberry Indigo. Last but not least, I just randomly spray this one. It's a tester that I picked up from FragranceNet in one of my recent fragrance hauls. It is Ferrari Radiant Bergamot. Don't have the cap, that's why it's a tester, but you can see that juice level just continuously dropping. I spray this one and spray that it loses prime. I sprayed it earlier, so it's still got some prime to it, but beautiful, zesty, bright, just sharp, slightly bitter bergamot. The bergamot's working here. Got some green spice to it, some woody nuances. This is really good. On the synthetic side, yeah, sure. Not as bad as pure lavender, though, honestly. Have Noble Fig as well. That one's okay. Not as good as this one, in my opinion. I mean, everybody's got their favorites. The only one I don't have is Bright and Rolly. I will get it eventually. Late to the party with this one. I put off getting it for so freaking long. FragranceNet had it for like 22 or 24 bucks for a tester. And I normally hate, I always hate not having the cap. It's bothering me right now. But I didn't want to pass it up because I believe they have discontinued the Essence line for these main 4. And prices have been going up. They're harder to find. Now, Bright and Rolly goes for like 60 or 70 bucks now. These were always $20 fragrances for the longest time. But I'm glad I at least got my hands on this one because it's definitely my favorite of the 3 out of 4 that I own. It's such a good, so good. If you like bergamot, yes, it does smell like Ferragamo Acqua Essenziale Colonia. It is very similar, but honestly, I find myself reaching for this one more. And Colonia's got more going on for it. It's a little bit more woody. It's got more watery nuances to it because there's some watery notes and ambroxan and stuff. Like it's a deeper fragrance than this, but I get more joy out of this one, believe it or not. Really good stuff. I've been spraying the hell out of this. This juice level has dropped greatly. I've had this fragrance for like, I don't know, maybe a little over a month at best. You guys know me. That's for me and the amount of fragrances I have and the variety I go through on a daily basis. It's a pretty big dent, and I'm sure that dent's going to continue to grow throughout the year. Definitely one of my most worn so far this year in an extremely short amount of time, too, is Ferrari's Radiant Bergamot. Well, that's the video. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. What is like your 1 or 2 most worn fragrances? What are those fragrances that you just can't stop reaching for? You keep going back to, even if a month or 2 months passed by and you haven't touched it. You get in the mood for it one day, and next thing you know, you're right back to the well where you keep reaching for it at least once a week or twice a week or something like that. What are those fragrances for you guys? I'd love to read those comments if you don't mind humoring me down below. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the 10 I've been wearing the most this year and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later, because I definitely like them. I keep wearing them. Have a good one, guys.